Suicune used to be one of the scariest Pokemon in competitive history, but with the release of Pokemon Scarlet and Violet, we have entered a completely different metagame with arguably the strongest power creep in Pokemon to date. New Pokemon such as Gholdengo, Ogerpon, Kingambit, and Ting-Lu have changed the meta entirely in every tier. Thus, I set out to find out one thing on the Pokemon Showdown Overuse ladder. Is Suicune still good, and is it still worth using? Welcome back. Let's see whether or not Suicune can prove itself to be a viable asset within Scarlet and Violet, and we're already facing one of the hardest threats to the Mon, Ogerpon Wellspring. This is by far our biggest threat. Bolt is also an insanely huge threat, and Iron Valiant is also a big threat. Three huge threats to this team. But I do believe that we can probably chunk this down with the combination of Petch and Slowking and leave Suicune for an endgame cleanup. I think I can leave Petch Run here. I don't mind throwing off a Toxic here immediately. Try and weaken this as much as possible. Perfect. And I don't want Petch to take any chip here, so I'm going to go to my Corviknight. He goes into his own, which is perfectly fine. I'll go back into my Petch. Goes into Ace, which I will Parting Shot on. And let's see what he brings in here. Corviknight again. Unfortunately, I don't really have anything to pressure this, but I do have a Slowking I can use. I could go into Treads and throw up my own Rocks. I think Rocks is a lot worse for the enemy team than it is for us. His only form of hazard control is Incinerate. I don't know this Corviknight set. If it's default, then so be it, but I don't think it would be. Exactly, it would be Press. I don't think this is default, and I think that's max defense Corviknight. I'll pivot into Slowking here on, I don't know what it is, a Body Press, and I'll throw off a Future Sight here, because they don't really have a switch in for that either. Ace is in. I don't mind a Thunder Wave here. That is very, very strong. And I can go into my Petch Run pretty safely. That was a very strong Pyro Ball. Corviknight comes in. I don't mind Parting Shot here into my Slowking, and then clicking Chilly Reception here on the U-turn. Garchomp comes in, which is perfectly fine. I can bring in my Corviknight and just get a Roost. I will have opportunities to spin with Iron Treads later, so it's not a big deal. He goes into Bolt. I do have my Iron Treads here. I will immediately Earthquake this. This is a very big threat. I cannot afford to let this guy... Okay, that is actually very scary. What is my course of action? I think I need to knock this off. Get rid of its lefties first. I'll Rapid Spin here and do a fair chunk. Treads is now gone, but he's also exhausted Terra. This is very tough, guys. I can calculate how much Samurott takes from this if I Terra Poison. This is actually really scary, because Thunderbolt into Thunderclap has a fair chance at knocking me out. And it's unfortunate, because I do need to keep Slowking alive for that Iron Valiant, and I definitely need Petch alive for the Cinderace and the Ogerpon. My best play is to Samurott here and click Razor Shell for the most amount of damage that I can do. That Thunderbolt crits me, which means I'm definitely confirmed to die on the next one. His Thunderclap has never been more free. But I think I'm willing to take this trade. I have Slowking in here now, which I can click. I believe Sludge Bomb is a guaranteed kill, right? It should be. Perfect. Okay. The threat is mitigated, he's exhausted Terra, but Raging Bolt was by far his biggest threat. And I still have a solid defensive core. I don't think I'll die just yet. I'll immediately go into Petron here and throw off a Toxic and hope he doesn't crit me. He does not, which is amazing. I can go into Suicune here to hopefully stall out some time. A beautiful self-hit. I'll protect here. He clicks Trailblaze, which is perfectly fine. I can go into my core. And he heads himself again. Perfect. This is an ideal situation. My opponent is a bit angry, but it is part of Mons, and we'll just have to gloss over it and see what we can do. I believe Petch lives anything, so I can recover here. And I'm faster than him in paralysis, so it's not a big deal. I'll foul play here, doing a fair chunk of damage. He court changes, which is not too big of a deal. I'll foul play again. Actually, I think a parting shot could be better. Go back into my Petron just to heal a bit more on my Slowking. Foul play here. I can actually parting shot one more time into my Slowking. He U-turns here, but he can't really bring it. He can't really bring Val here because I will just kill it with Sludge Bomb. Goes into Garchomp, which is fine. I do have my Corviknight here, which I would say is relatively free. I can substitute here. Perfect. Protect here. And Scald here, knocking out the Garchomp. Corviknight comes in. I have no reason not to click Scald again. Hopefully getting a burn. Perfect. He U-turns into his Iron Valiant, which I think I need to bring in Slowking on. I think I need a Sludge Bomb here. He clicks Psyshock, but that's not a big deal. And I win the game. We'll move on to the next, folks. So far, Suicune has done what it's supposed to be doing. I'm quite happy with its performance, though it was more so to play a support role in that game, given the amount of threats on the enemy team. Here we're against Sun, which is also very scary, but I do have my Slowking here that I can spam Chilly Reception with. And I believe I do have to lead it. And I will Chilly here for sure. He Wisps. We get a very fortunate dodge there. I think I could go to my Pex and potentially get a Toxic off. I don't mind if he goes into Moth. That's perfectly okay. I do have my AV Slowking here. Not AV, sorry, but this will be fine. I can click Future Sight. He gets the boost here, which is fine. I can pivot into Samurott. If he clicks Sludge Wave, then good play by him. He doesn't. I do think Sludge Wave kills me from this range. It's got a pretty decent shot at killing me. I will go back into Slowking here. Perfect. But that Moth is still alive, and that Fiery Dance will send me flying. But it's fine, I can go back into Samurott, and I can Sucker Punch here. He makes a great play going into Ninetales. Encores me there, that's fine. And I get a Chilly Reception here into my Petch, which I can click Toxic with. He goes into Moth again. I don't really want to take the chip from the Moth, so I will go into Slowking. He throws off a very strong Overheat, but I'll pick up something with Sludge Bomb. That is amazing. Probably the best case scenario as well. I imagine he'll Draco. I don't think Hydro Steam makes sense at this play. Or he knocks here. I'll pivot into Samurott because I'm not really sure what he'll click. Okay, Hydro Steam next. I'll Sucker Punch here, and hopefully this gets Wake Away. This is a worthy trade in my opinion. But now we are entering something a bit scary. Okay, that's fine if Tusk comes in. I do have my Core, which is always a good counter. Good rocks by the opponent. Ninetales comes in, takes the chip. I'll go back into Slowking here. That overheat from Iron Moth does a lot. I will definitely click Thunder Wave here because I'm quite scared at the potential of this mod. Yep, exactly. Terra Waters. So I paralyzed this here. This is actually really, really scary, and I think I can lose this. But I will Chilly Reception here into my Corviknight and see what I can do. But I do think this game is lost. He clicks that there. Unfortunately, folks, I think this game is lost. I don't think Suicune can really do anything against this mod. I'll sub here. This should be a good game. I don't really see a way out. Against this specific team with Comfey, I think this is a bit harder to deal with. In hindsight, I guess keeping Terra with Sound... No. I think I did what I should have. But this Comfey was simply one of the worst matchups I could have faced. Still, good game to our opponent, and we'll move on to the next. Final game, folks. I really want to let Suicune shine here. I think this is one of those rare games where I can actually lead this mod and hope for the best. Actually, that's wrong. Leading Petron is probably the best play. I guess I'll Toxic this. Is Toxicing here the right play? Or is it just clicking Foul Play? Is this banded? It's not banded. I'll go to my Samurai here. In hindsight, was this the right play? I'm not too sure. Because if this is Sash, then Foul Play, I don't think Foul Play would have been the right play. I just poisoned this because I didn't really think he would stay in. And if he Swords Dance there, I think I would have just Terra Petron after and landed a Foul Play then. But he didn't Terra, so... I mean, he didn't Swords Dance, so... I do have Samurai here, and I can kind of scout out what he's trying to do. I'm not really sure what he's thinking about. But I'm really trying to set up Suicune here. But with something like an Encore Iron Valiant, I think that's a bit hard to do. He clicks Poltergeist here, which is fine. That does a lot, actually. But I can Sucker here and knock this out. Against Blaziken, okay, he goes into Iron Valiant, which I'll go into Slowking for. He clicks Aura Sphere, which is fine. I'll throw off a pretty free Thunder Wave on whatever's coming in. If I can Thunder Wave the Blaze, I think that's the threat neutralized. The idea of Thunder Wave is also to slow Mons as much as possible, so that Suicune, with its 295, can outspeed and comp and sub-protect stall most of these Mons. I thought about pairing Suicune with Rillaboom as well for 12% recovery each turn, combined with Protect, but when I think about it, my defensive core becomes so much more weak after I do that. I prefer to fit Rillaboom on offensive type structures only these days. But we'll see how it goes. Honestly, now like I look back at it, taking unnecessary chip of Petch definitely leaves Blaziken with a pretty strong win con. I'll Future Sight here and Chilly out. I mean, he was eventually going to get it there, right? Goes into Greninja here. I have my Samurai as a nice pivot. And here I can just click Ceaseless Edge. I'm keeping this Corv healthy as well for that Kingambit. I might have to tear this to deal with Blaziken as well. Sludge Wave, which is fine. I Ceaseless. I do a pretty hefty chunk. There's no point in me clicking anything else here. %. Oh, that's Battle Bond. That's actually really bad. In hindsight, maybe I should have just clicked Razor twice, because that spike doesn't really give me anything. Go into Suicune here, and try and kill this, I guess. Alright, that's fine. Noivern comes in. What's this gonna do? I'll go into Slowking. Tailwind. Interesting. Definitely Thunder Wave here. I have a plan now. Sub here. Sub again. Calm Mind here. Sub one more time. Protect. Calm Mind. Protect. Calm Mind. Protect. Sub. Protect. Calm Mind. Protect. Calm Mind one more time. Protect. Scald. Perfect. An ideal situation. Told you guys Suicune was going to clean up late game. This Blaziken's not doing anything to me. That actually does a lot, I'll be honest. Gambit's in, but I can Terra Fairy this and knock it out with Scald. I do get a burn, but I don't think it would have mattered. Oh, I actually might have. No, it wouldn't have, because I have Rocky Helmet on my Corv. Good game to our opponent. Hope y'all enjoyed. Please make sure to subscribe, smash that like button, and let me know in the comments what you guys think about this video and which mon I should try next. And that's all from me, folks. So with that, I'll see you guys next time. Peace.